Hey everyone and welcome. Today we're going to jump into the Bible readings for August 22nd, 2025. We've got 4 chapters here that, on the surface look like they have nothing to do with each other. But I think you'll see that when you put them all together, they tell one single powerful story that starts in an ancient temple and ends up right here in our lives today.
So here's our game plan. We're going to start by looking at God's incredible house in the Old Testament. Then we'll grab some wisdom for understanding people. After that, we'll witness the exact moment when everything changed at the cross. Then we'll see this new way of worship get unleashed on the world. And finally, we'll figure out, okay, so what do we do with all this?
All right, let's get started. Our journey begins in 2 Chronicles, chapter 4, right in the heart of Old Testament worship, the absolutely magnificent temple built by King Solomon.
Now you got to understand, this wasn't just some beautiful church building. The temple was the one spot on earth God had designated for his presence to live among his people. Access was super limited, and every single thing inside was designed with a specific divine purpose.
And the scale of this place, it was just staggering. Take this number, 30 feet. That was the length and the width of the main bronze altar. It was this huge, permanent statement right at the entrance about how serious sin was and how necessary sacrifice was to deal with it.
And if you think that's big, it gets even crazier. Get this number, 16,500. That's how many gallons of water a single giant bronze basin called the sea could hold. It sat on 12 bronze oxen, and it was where the priests had to wash. It showed that even to get close to serving God, you needed constant cleansing.
And it wasn't just about size, it was about incredible value. We see the number 100 here. This stands for the 100 solid gold basins used for the daily services. Gold, right? A symbol of total purity, of royalty, of immense value, and it was literally everywhere in this place.
So what's the point of all this? Well, all this burnished bronze, all this pure gold, it adds up to a place that just screams glory, beauty, and holiness. But it also sent another message. Approaching a perfect God was a very structured, very exclusive process that you absolutely could not do on your own.
Okay, hold that image of the glorious temple in your mind. Because before we see that whole system get turned upside down, we need to make a quick stop in the book of Proverbs. This is going to give us a really crucial lens for understanding the human drama and the foolishness that's about to unfold. So Proverbs 26 gives us what seems like really clear advice. When you're dealing with a fool, sometimes the wisest thing you can do is just not engage. Don't sink to their level. Simple enough, right?
But then, literally the very next verse says the exact opposite. So what gives? Well, the point isn't that the Bible is contradicting itself. The point is about discernment. Real wisdom isn't some rigid rule book. It's knowing what a specific moment actually calls for. And we're about to see Jesus put that on perfect display.
The chapter ends with this really stark warning about how destructive lies and flattery can be. I want you to just hang on to those words because they perfectly describe the toxic atmosphere that's swirling around Jesus' trial.
And here we are. Mark chapter 15, this is the turning point of the entire story. All that glory from the temple, all that wisdom from Proverbs, it all collides right here at the cross, and the whole system of worship is about to be changed forever.
Just look at this incredible, heartbreaking contrast. In the temple, you have solid gold, but the true king, he gets a cheap purple robe. The priests had basins for cleansing, but Jesus gets a crown of thorns pressed into his head. The true worship happening in the temple is replaced by the mock worship of soldiers. And the day itself just unfolds with this cosmic weight. At 9 in the morning, they crucify him. By noon, a strange, supernatural darkness falls over the entire land. And then, at 3 o'clock, the moment comes. At the very instant that Jesus dies, the story suddenly pivots. It shifts away from the horror of the cross and zooms right back into the heart of that glorious temple we saw earlier. And it focuses on the curtain, that massive, thick veil that separated the most holy place, God's throne room on earth, from everybody else.
You can't miss the meaning here. The barrier between God and humanity is torn. And notice the direction, from top to bottom. This wasn't some guy with a knife. This was an act of God. This was God himself tearing down the wall, basically shouting that access to him was no longer limited to a special building or a special priest.
So, the veil's torn. The old way is over. What now? What does a world without that barrier actually look like? Well, let's jump over to Acts chapter 14 because we see the consequences play out immediately.
The good news is officially on the move, outside the temple walls.
Paul performs this amazing miracle, and what does the crowd do? They immediately go back to their old temple system. They try to offer sacrifices to Paul and Barnabas. But the apostles stop them, and they proclaim the new reality. And this message, it brings both incredible power and, as you can see, violent opposition.
And this right here, this is the new mission statement. It's not about going to a special place anymore. It's not about rituals. Worship is now about turning away from worthless things, from idols, sure, but really from any system that tries to put God in a box, and turning to the living God himself.
Okay, so let's land the plane here. We've gone from the bronze altar in the temple all the way to a dusty road in a pagan city. What does all of this mean for us, for how we're supposed to approach God today?
This chart really sums up the radical shift, doesn't it? It's a total game changer. God's presence isn't stuck in one building anymore. Our access isn't limited to a special class of priests, and the need for endless animal sacrifices is completely finished because of Christ's one perfect sacrifice.
You know, if you walk away with just one thing, let it be this. The entire story, from the gold basins in the temple to the crown of thorns on Jesus' head, it all points to this one incredible truth. Jesus himself is now the place where we meet God. He is our temple, he is our high priest, and he is our final sacrifice.
And so this whole journey through Scripture leaves us with a really practical question to ask ourselves. Do we ever fall into the trap of treating our church buildings or our traditions, or even just our quiet time routines, as the holy place where we meet God? These readings are a powerful reminder that true, life-changing worship isn't about a location. It's always centered on a relationship with the living person of Jesus.